Welcome to Valley Newsline for the week of February 4th, 2007. Hello, I'm your host, Ron Whitlock. On the program today, the brand new State Commissioner of Agriculture, Todd Staples, along with O.E. Brand Jr. in the studio. O.E. Brand Jr., welcome to Valley Newsline.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Brand is chairman of the Hidalgo County Water Improvement District number 3 in the city of McAllen, a water district that's been the focus of several programs here on Valley Newsline over the last couple of years. Also, for most of his life, Mr. Brand was with Griffin and Brand, the largest grower and shipper of citrus and vegetables in the state of Texas for over 25 years. And he's on the program today to put out a warning in his view to all of us in the valley who are drinkers of water, users of water in our homes, in our yards, in our farms and ranches throughout greater South Texas. Now, this is a follow-up to a program that we had for you here on Valley Newsline that viewed on December the 10th, 2006 and featured Jim Darling, president of the Rio Grande Regional Water Authority, and Wayne Halbert, a board member of the Rio Grande Regional Water Authority. And the topic of that program was the conversion of irrigation districts operations to municipal pumping districts. That was Jim Darling's quote, and or the rights of these water districts being conveyed over to municipalities due to urbanization. Purpose of the program is to inform you of a bill now being disseminated across South Texas by Veronica Gonzalez, the proposed sponsor of said bill. She is holding up the filing of that bill at the state capitol in Austin, waiting your response to this program, pro or con. She wants to know what you think about this bill and whether you have concerns about the bill, whether the bill needs to be changed and or filed by her as proposed. Now, Mr. Brand, you're here to explain to me in this audience why you're so concerned about the bill. Just as a rough few seconds, tell us why you're concerned about the bill, and then we will get into the specifics of the bill with the audience.
Ron, the bill is written in a form that is not a form that I believe all the water holders all that use water in the state of Texas would agree is a good format.
Do you think it's a threat to agriculture? Is it a threat to water users in general?
It is a threat to certainly any bee holders, certainly to people outside of the municipal realm. This bill has the potential to diminish their ability of not just water, but the rights to that water.
Go to valleynewsline.tv if you want to go and look up the December 10th program with Jim Darling and Wayne Halbert, or you can go to the July 30th program on our website, because on that particular occasion we had Othel Brand Sr., your father, and Leo Montalvo, also from McAllen, two former mayors, city of McAllen, now sitting on your water district board, and they both are concerned about perhaps this bill because they're concerned about the city of McAllen's desire to take over your water district. But that was what happened in the last regular session of the legislature, the 79th session. This is the 80th session, and now the 80th session has moved on from just wanting to take over your district by McAllen to a bill which would put into play a circumstance and a law amendment to the Chapter 49 of the Texas Water Code, which would provide a mechanism, in your opinion, what you're telling us, to have water districts taken over valley-wide by municipalities.
Well, it doesn't actually take over the water districts, but what it does do is it ties their hands immensely over water that belongs to the users of that district. The bill itself, which has only been, we just received it last Friday. This bill's not even 5 days old to us. There's been several versions of this bill that have floated around, but this is supposedly the bill that they want to file.
Now, you can go to valleynewsline.tv and look up the bill yourself. We will have it there on the site or a link up to the bill. Just some of the highlights, Mr. Brand. Petition by municipal water supplier to convert water use from after subdivision within the water district. Number 2, before a district may contract for the sale of use of water for more than a year, where a purchaser located outside of a county within the district for 90 days. The water must be available under the same terms to all municipal water suppliers located within that county. Seemed like this purpose of the bill would be to put in a vulnerable position the water rights holder, but in a control position the municipality. That seems to be conveying more rights to accrue those rights on the part of the municipality as opposed to the rights of the water holder.
The cities need water.
Do you read that also?
I read it that way.
Okay.
I agree.
Then there's a calculation of proportion of water rights, which would dictate by your water district or any water district here in the Rio Grande Valley. That means 68% of the current market value is a market value that you must sell your water to municipalities. And that item will be dictated and directed and calculated by the Rio Grande Water Master. That's part of the bill. What's wrong with that in your opinion?
Mr. Whitlock, most of these districts are as old or older than the cities in the valley. Most of these districts began in the early 1900s. They have been managed by the same citizenry that governs these municipalities as well.
Such as yourself, you're elected by the people within your water district.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there is a way to reach the goal that the cities want. This bill does not do that in an equitable way, in a fair and equitable way. And in listening to the Commissioner of Agriculture last week, what this bill does not do, it does not make a win-win for everyone. And he's
we're going to play that clip in just a moment of the new State Commissioner of Agriculture, Staples. The next item in the bill that you're concerned about, capital improvements. A district shall designate 75% of proceeds of the sale of water rights for capital improvements within the districts. That would, in effect, tie your hands if you were to sell water rights to even a municipality. It would require you to do something with those funds and take it out of the hands of your board. Is that your opposition? Because it ties your hands in operating your district?
Like I said earlier,
I'm assuming that.
Yeah, we've managed, these districts, my predecessors have managed these districts well. And they've had problems just like cities have had problems. And to tell them that whenever we ask you for these water rights, we're only going to pay you 68% of the market value of those. And you will take 75% of that water and the proceeds of that sale and set it aside. You really don't need, it takes all the management that those who are elected to take care of that district away from them. They've seen fit. Our district, when I got on this board, I cannot tell you how impressed I was with District 3, who had a surplus in the bank, had no debt, and had a $2.5 million brand new pumping station paid for and built, and was not having to tax anyone in the district, nor float any bonds or have any debt service. Now, I don't know many cities that can say that. The districts run better and are run more efficiently than even the cities, by their own admission, can run them. Now, you have to ask yourself, who is served best by that? Is it the cities, the district, or is it the taxpayers? Now, from where I sit, the taxpayers should be the winners here, not the cities, not the water district. And if in the taxation or in the running of a municipality or water district, it can be run by whoever can run it the most efficiently, that's where it needs to be.
We did a program several years ago called Whiskey for Drinking, Waters for Fighting. It's been said that the biggest commodity right now, the most valuable commodity in Texas, is water. We have a bill now being proposed by the Rio Grande Regional Water Authority and its chairman, Jim Darling, along with Wayne Halbert, who serves on that board, to now, the first thing since they've been really formed and got into business, the first legislative action that they're trying to get accomplished through Austin at this point in time, through Veronica Gonzalez, is a bill which will, in your case, in your opinion, be a threat to agriculture and to water rights holders here in South Texas.
That's correct.
Why does it surprise you? Why does it scare you so much? Why are you so concerned about this, Mr. Brand?
Well, I can tell you in just being a spectator in years past when we went through droughts, the way that the state deals with water rights with cities versus anyone and everyone else, that in a drought situation, the cities always will get 100% of the water that they own. Everyone else is allocated.
Agriculture in particular also is secondary.
Absolutely.
So,
in years,
is the point you're making the municipalities are not in any threat of losing water in times of drought, so the bill is unnecessary because of that?
well, not necessarily. But in times, in hard times, when there's lots of water, there is no issue. When there's lots of water in the river, and there's a lot in Falcon and Amistad, there's no issues. Everyone's got what they need. But what this bill does is when we get into a drought situation, it does diminish the availability as time goes on. It will diminish the availability to everyone other than the cities.
Now, Mr. Brand and his father, Otho Brand Sr., and I visited on camera with the new Commissioner of Agriculture, Todd Staples, about this issue. Here's that interview. On the program, Todd Staples, the Commissioner of Agriculture for the state of Texas, O.E. Brand Jr. and O.E. Brand Sr. Now,
representing the water districts primarily, but
as chairman of the board, O.E., would you explain to the audience what your concerns are with this session of the legislature as it relates to the future of not only your irrigation district, but the other irrigation districts here in the valley?
Well, first of all, we're one of 27, 28 water districts in the valley, chairman of.
And that's Hidalgo County Water Improvement District number 3.
And we have served the city of McAllen almost that entire time that we've been in business. And there is a move now to
not only a move, but there's a bill.
There's a bill.
For this
bills
session
right
of the
now. They're right now in place.
Is there a problem? Is there a potential problem to water rights holders throughout the entire state presented
well,
by this?
I want to tell you, if there is a bill like this passed, it could become a
Precedent.
It is a permanent damage, irreparable.
It is.
This is a damage which is insidious.
Well, I know that, let me say this. I know your leadership for Texas has been legendary, and I'm very appreciative of the great work that you've done for so many years. And water is a vitally important component of our state's economy. We know that the Water Development Board has projected shortages. If we do not manage our water properly, we have to develop new water resources. And the most important aspect of water policy is there can't be winners and losers. We have to develop win-win solutions to these challenges so that we can all move forward and take advantage. And from East Texas, I've been working on water issues for my entire legislative career, so I'm very sympathetic. I look forward to finding those right solutions and using the resources of the Texas Department of Agriculture to make certain we do that.
Commissioner, we want win-win for everyone.
Absolutely.
That's what we look for.
Now, Commissioner, the situation that exists in the Rio Grande Valley, even though 72% of the acreage in the four-county valley area continues to depend on agriculture to pay its taxes and support the owners of those 72% of the acreage in our region, because of urbanization and the extreme growth being the fastest growing area in the state, providing more job growth in Hidalgo County in particular than any other area of the state. Because of that, these agriculture acres are being eaten up, and groves are being converted to trailer parks and houses and subdivisions and that kind. By virtue of that, these municipalities that incorporate those services are in a situation where they're desirous of trying to reach some kind of agreement where these water districts can be absorbed by these cities and their water rights can be absorbed into those municipalities. The concerns expressed by these two gentlemen of this one water district and others in the region is that by setting a precedent, it could be a very serious situation. If one thing is done for this region by virtue of setting precedent, could it impact on the other regions and other future laws?
Absolutely correct. Anything that happens in one region of the state is always used as an example and for a motivational factor to change things in other areas of the state. And just the underlying principle that must be a part of any water debate is that we do not have winners and losers. All Texans suffer when we operate under that type of policy, and that's not going to be on my agenda as Commissioner of Agriculture.
Now, Senator Lucio created the Rio Grande Regional Water Authority in 2003. This is the first legislative initiative that water authority, signed by the governor, most of the members of that entity, placed on that board by the governor of Texas. Your concern is that it's going to be a de facto takeover of water districts in the region by municipalities because it'll tie your hands to operate your water districts.
Take over a district, I don't think this bill directly says that now. But does it lay some groundwork for that in the future? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, Jim Darling, who's the chairman of the board of the Water Authority and the former city attorney in the city of McAllen, indicated to this reporter prior to this taping that the cities are trying to establish a uniform market value price for water. That's what the intent of the bill is. He said the water districts in particular, like yourself, want to be a part of this because they want to be part of the legislative process. It's purely that simple. That's what he said.
Well, we all want to be part of the legislative process. The problem is that this bill, for our board, just received 5 days ago the final copy of what was to be presented. There's not a farmer in our district that's seen this bill or knows anything about it. There's not a member on my board that has read this. Now, we're only one district. There's lots of work to be done before this bill ever should be put into law.
State Representative Veronica Gonzalez told us prior to this taping that she is going to hold off filing this bill until she hears from you, anyone in this viewing audience, a Valley Newsline, who has an idea or interest or concern, pro or con, on this particular amendment to the Texas Water Code. Now, one of the things that your water district has been contemplating and has approved pending federal funding is a circumstance of technology which could, in the case of your district, provide technology at your river pump when the water first comes into your water district and therefore into the city of McAllen, ultimately used to a big degree by the city of McAllen for the water needs of that municipality. A situation where E. coli could be seen immediately if it were to come into your water district. Why is that so important for your district?
Well, Ron, I think the reason we've taken a look at it was for a couple of reasons. First of all, the group that came to us, to our board, and made the proposal was not just for E. coli, but other chemicals and substances that might be put in the water from a homeland security standpoint or disaster standpoint. It was more than just E. coli, but E. coli was certainly one of them. Now, one that is fresh on everybody's memory is the spinach in California, the onions in Taco Bell. These are things that were devastated, absolutely devastated that industry.
And your district wants to be proactive.
Well, we want to take a hard look, and we are supporting and have given written and verbal support to funding that will allow districts or cities or both to protect not just the city supply, but also farmers. That if such an occurrence were to be, that you stop it until it's taken care of. The cost of that equipment versus destroying an entire crop.
Or an entire economy in the case of Imperial Valley, California.
Absolutely.
Their entire economy has been shut down.
Absolutely.
Just because it happened in one field.
Absolutely. And for the expense of what this is, it's not cheap, but it's still cheaper than losing the entire crop because it's not marketable anymore. And you end up just plowing it up, and most of it perfectly good.
In the case of Imperial Valley, California, nobody's going to be buying spinach or lettuce or a leafy vegetable from that area or that state for probably how long? A long time.
Absolutely. For the season. Till the season's coming
At least for the season.
Till it's come and gone.
So your irrigation district out of all in the valley is trying to be proactive and getting ahead of the game so as to be able to alert your farmers in your district the fact that the E. coli is in your water system and therefore going to be at some point in time getting into these crops. Realizing now that Reynosa, Mexico is putting raw effluent, raw E. coli right into the Rio Grande just below your pumps.
That is true. That is true. And all I can say is we're above that. But nevertheless, it's
But all
still.
the other irrigation districts in the valley, most of the valley are not doing anything about it.
It is an exposure that all of us take, and it certainly is not a lesson we need to learn, having watched what's already happened in 2 occasions in the last 6 months.
Now, when your board discussed this, Leo Montalvo, former city mayor, City McAllen, explained to your board what happened on September the 11th. On that date, he was coming out of surgery in McAllen Municipal Hospital. Here's that comment.
When September 11 hit, I was getting out of a hospital operation for catheterization, and I'm groggy looking at the film there, and you know, very conscious but groggy. And I called Mike Pettis within probably 30 minutes of that, and I said, 3 things, you know, airport, water plant, and the bridge.
Even though groggy, former Mayor Leo Montalvo, on September the 11th, when the terrorists attacked the Twin Towers and the Pentagon, he was sharp enough to know that the water system would be one of those things attacked.
Certainly one that could be, has exposure.
I doubt I would have been that sharp, but who knows, who knows. Now, when we talked to the Commissioner of Agriculture, Todd Staples, at the Mission Citrus Fiesta, these are his comments regarding this technology need for water districts in the valley. This region has a serious problem because the city of Reynosa and the cities of Matamoros put pure raw effluent into the Rio Grande. So this raw effluent coming out of the city of Reynosa, in particular in Matamoros, is a bullet that could be fired at any moment to decimate the agriculture industry here in the Rio Grande Valley. Do you have any concerns about trying to look forward and try to do something about that?
Well, absolutely. If that's the case, we have to negotiate with our partners and make certain that understanding that we are in a partnership, and water quality issues impact the livelihood of the entire valley on both sides of the border. And we have to bring that to their attention, and I am scheduled to be meeting with my counterparts in Mexico and in the Mexican states, and we will certainly make that high on our agenda to address.
We have also talked to Secretary Chertoff, Governor Perry, and Senator Cornyn and Hutchinson about this, because there is technology available that could sample water and air, which is obviously very vulnerable here in this region because the water and air is shared with Mexico. Would you work with them along with Congressman Cuellar in saying that some money could be sent for technology for both of these areas of our desperate need?
Absolutely. That sounds like a very viable approach, and I look forward to working with that great leadership team in place.
Thank you for being
Thank
with
you
us here
very
on Valley
much.
Newsline. We appreciate your time. Millions of dollars in water rights being fought over in a bill now pending to be filed by Veronica Gonzalez in Austin at the state capitol. She wants to hear from you now, as soon as possible. Go to valleynewsline.tv to look at the bill. You can contact her at our website. We will have her phone number and her website address if you want to contact her to comment about the water bill. Now, Mr. Brand, with some of our cropland valued at $1,000, $1,800 an acre, and the water rights is tied to those acres valued at $2,000 and $2,500 an acre, the water rights are worth more than the land itself. What happens to the water rights and the values of these water rights that belong to that land and potential landowners watching this program if this bill is passed and filed in Austin? I don't see any indication in the bill that they're protected in any way. Neither do I see necessarily that they're involved. It's not written in the language of the bill. But that necessarily doesn't always be the case. As you know, we've passed many bills in the history of our state which some cases take advantage of people who don't even know they're involved. You're not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but I do know this, that this bill formulates an artificial market for water versus what all of us are accustomed to, certainly in agriculture, which is supply and demand in a free market that flows with the need and the desire of the parties involved.
You need to go to the bill. If you own land of the valley, go to your trust officer, go to your executor, go to your attorney or CPA. They may want to look at this bill, see how it may impact on a valuable commodity if you own acreage here in the Rio Grande Valley of South Texas. Mr. Brand, thank you for coming and being with us. Till next time, adios.